morning, Zulma. I'm glad you're here.
Hi. Yeah, me too.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so now we're running live on YouTube. Zulma Gonzalez, I'll make you a co-host, and this mic is all yours.
Hi. A thankful
Thank
Thursday to each and every only one of us. I am so enjoyed to be here today. We have been talking about oneness since last Thursday, I believe. And I will continue and hopefully, I think, finish up with that today. The importance of recognizing the oneness, which is what this is really all about. It's a course in mind training to help us learn that we are one, 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 that there is nothing outside of us, that there is no separation, that in form there are differences, there's uniqueness in form. Everything is unique in form. Thumbprints are different, snowflakes are different, blades of grass are different, unique in their expression of God, expressing as themselves, as God, in God, as God, for God, with God, to God, all of it. It's all God. It's all God. So, I was just saying that I was in New York for the last couple of days. I went to New York, drove to New York on Tuesday, took Lovable with me. He's right here. Let's see. He's right there. He's been resting. He had a very busy couple of days, spent a lot of time in Central Park with my nephew, who absolutely fell in love with him. He said that Lovable is the type of dog that everyone would want to have. He came with trainings, a lot of training. He's very calm, only barks when it's absolutely necessary or when he wants to play. um, and it was just a good 2 days. I got a chance to meet with my sister. She is in the hospital. They're keeping her for at least a month. Her body has something called acute myeloid leukemia, which basically means she has cancer in her body is experiencing cancer in the bones. And she's been getting intense chemo. She's handling it. She's still strong. She's able to get up on her own and what have you. Um, the thing, it's funny how, you do this, but that seems to happen. Um, the human technology, the chemo is affecting her kidneys. So her temperature has gone up as high as 104. It's been stable at 101, but the temperature has been consistent. The intended goal is for her body to go into remission because they believe that that's possible, considering how strong she actually is. That her body will go into remission. At which point, I'm trusting that she will go move to Texas. You've heard about me talk about my nephew in Texas who uh, who is involved with my best friend since third grade. But anyway, and her mother's there with her mother. My friend Debbie, her mother is there. She's 101 years old. Um, and trusting that my sister will go to New York, or rather to Texas, to live with my nephew and my friend Debbie. Well, all of them, to live with my nephew. So anyway, now that we're caught up on my life, um, I will share my screen, and we start as we always do with an extra quote today, with a reminder. I want to do this in slideshow motion. In slideshow. Let's see if I get this right. How about if I turn this on and plug this in? Oh, I just wasn't ready today. I thought I was. I thought I was so on time. I thought I was on top of it. I obviously am not. You can't plug in to learn how to think is to learn how to live. Um, that's from Dr. Ernest Holmes, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. The course teaches us that this is a course in mind training and that all learning involves attention and study at some level. The course also reminds us that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. And Dr. Holmes teaches that thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it is impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating. Our choice is whether we shall create constructively or destructively. And that's backed up by the course, which says that all thinking produces form at some level. I have a quote today from an ancient Kemetic proverb. Kemet was what Egypt was called before it was called Egypt. Everything was called something else before it was called what the settlers called it. But it was called Kemet. So this is an ancient Kemetic proverb. It says, "You will free yourself when you learn to be neutral and follow the instructions of your heart without letting things perturb you. This is the way of Ma'at." And Ma'at was the goddess of balance. She represents balance. She is when in the ancient days, when a person made their transition, they would put their heart on a scale, and on the other side was the feather of Ma'at, and in search of that balance to determine if they were, what their outcome would be after that. Um, we know how those stories go. They don't really change, except they just change the words. Some call it heaven and hell and whatever. But anyway, that's the way it was. So that's the way of Ma'at. And I suggest that you go online and type in Ma'at. That's MA''AT, and learn a bit more about a lot of what we learning today, what we've been taught. It's just that it originated in Kemet, in what we call today Egypt. So today we're starting with the with a quotes from Joel Goldsmith from his collected essays from Joel. In the realization of our oneness with infinite principle, love, God, we find and manifest our oneness with every idea necessary to the unfoldment of our completeness. We're talking about oneness here, the realization of our oneness. In the realization of our oneness, we find and manifest our oneness with every idea necessary to the unfoldment of our completeness. And also from Joel, the individual soul and the universal soul are not two, but one. And the conscious awareness of this truth constitutes the union or oneness, which is true prayer. And I think I talked about this the other day. We talked about prayer a bit. Yeah, we did. Because from Dr. Holmes, we have, if our thought is as unsullied as the mind of God, if we are recognizing our oneness with God, we cannot pray for other than the good of all, of all, of all. I don't care who it is. I don't care what you're seeing in the news. If our thought is as unsullied as the mind of God, if we are recognizing our oneness with God, we simply cannot pray for other than the good of all men, of all people. And from the Course, the power to heal the Son of God, is given you because he must be one with you. We're talking about oneness, 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 oneness. And I want you to just hold that thought. One, it's all one. It's all one. Judge not by appearances. It's all one. Joel Goldsmith continues. There is but one consciousness, and it embodies every quality of love, every activity of mind, all the harmony of divine being, all of it. We're talking about this. We're talking about just a reminder that I and the Father are one, that we are one in one another, is the way it's written in the Bible, that we are one in one another. One, that's it's written that Jesus said, we are one in one another, and we and the Father are one, all one. Every breath every time I breathe, I'm breathing in God. Every time you breathe, you're breathing in God. We're talking about that source. As as Susan Michelle says, that God socket, plugging into that God socket. There is no selfhood apart from God. There is nothing. And it's not even possible. There is but one life, one being, one mind. It is your life, your being, your mind. It is my life, my being, my mind. Ernest Holmes writes, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now, 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 and always, because always has no direction, of course, reminds us. So we're talking eternal. It's interesting how we talk about in the beginning, but when was the beginning? There always has been isness. And Joel continues, live every moment in the consciousness of your oneness with your divine principle. And here he is. I and my Father are one, not two. Rejoice in your oneness, that he is the life of your being and the joy of your heart. You are free and I am free because he is free. His freedom is your freedom. We're talking about God here, the Father. Father, you are free because he is free. His freedom is your freedom. His life is your life. The harmony of his being is the harmony of your being. His immortality, oh my God, is the infinity of your life. There is no beginning and there is no end. It's all one. It is always one. And it cannot and will not change. And there's such joy in knowing that. Such joy. From Living the Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest writes, as great an individualist as Jesus was, he made the claim that behind the individuality is the spiritual oneness. We're talking about a spiritual oneness. We're talking about that which is real, that which is permanent, that which is indestructible, that which is absolute. The spiritual oneness that holds us all together. And from the Course, and I love this quote, peace be to you today. Secure your peace by practicing awareness that you are one with your Creator as he is with you. Devote, we're talking about engaging. Devote to the thought that you are one with God. And that's from Workbook Lesson 124. I thought that was so beautiful. I've read that several times over the last few days. Peace be to you today. Secure your peace. In fact, if you come to the service, listen to the service of the Center of Peace on the first Sunday in May, this quote will be part of it. Peace be to you today. Secure your peace by practicing awareness. Practice awareness. Practice awareness that you are one with your Creator. When things seem the worst, practice awareness. When it looks like there's no hope in sight, practice awareness. When the pain feels so intense, practice awareness that you are one with your Creator. When somebody out there, seemingly out there, is doing, saying, being in a way that doesn't suit you, practice awareness that you are one with your Creator. Devote to the thought that you are one with God, that you and whatever is one with God. Whomever is one with God, just as you are. And to say that I don't like what that person is doing or saying or being, is saying I don't like myself, because the whole concept of not liking is coming from within. Always from within. Seek first the kingdom. The kingdom of God is you, the Course teaches. The kingdom of God is you, and we are one with it. A few good quotes from the Course. There are no beginnings and no endings in God, whose universe is himself. The universe is God. Can you exclude yourself from the universe? Can you exclude anybody from the universe? Or from God, who is the universe? Hear this. The Course teaches that God is the universe. Again, but now from the Course, I and my Father are one with you, for you are part of us. The voice of the Course. I and my Father are one with you, for you are part of us. Just one. Just one universe. There's no such thing, as Joel Goldsmith read. There's no such thing as God and anything else. There's only God. What else is there? What else could there possibly be? The source is the source, and ideas leave not their source. Everything is God. Everything is God. Every living thing, the Course teaches, is God. In fact, it says that. In your perfect understanding of him, you know there is but one will. God's will and my will is one will. Your will and God's will is one will. To say that, God is willing this and I'm willing that is absolutely impossible, because I am one with my Creator. My mind, the thoughts that I think, have to be coming from my source, because my mind, my mind is one with God's mind. It simply is. My mind is one with God's mind. That's unchangeable. That is everlasting. That is a wonderful thing, an absolute wonderful reality. I invite anyone who's listening, if anything catches their attention, anything they'd like to share, by all means, please do. We have quite a bit of time, and I intend to get all the readings in if I can, but I would absolutely love, 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 and prefer, enjoy participation. Yes, my Karen, thank you.
Hey, my Zulma. Yeah, I just want to share that the I and my Father are one that you keep sharing, which is beautiful, is actually a reflection of the atonement principle, and it is a reminder that we are not separate, and that, the only thing that we need to heal is the belief that we think we are separate from God. So that is the atonement principle right there. That is the atonement principle. So thank you for that reminder.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is a quote from the Bible. It's written that Jesus said it, and it keeps coming up. Every one of the magnificent teachers is reminding us that I and my Father are one. We are one. It's just that. And again, as Karen just said, the belief that we can be separate is the problem. Will always be the problem. The belief that we can be separate from anything, anybody, anyone, that we can be separate from any moment in time, or from any moment, because time it's an illusion, but that we can be separate from any moment, that we can be separate from our source. That's a problem. That's attempting to live in an unreal place. And that's not, which I call wish world. In a wish world is not a real place. We can't live in wish world. We can't live in the land of should have. We can't live in the land of could have. We can't live in the land of would have. We can't live in the land of if it had been this way. In your perfect understanding, you know there is but one will. God's will is that his son be one. That's you and me, one son, and united with him in his oneness. We're talking about life here. There's only one life. That is why healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will is his. Hear this. Your healing, the healing is the beginning of the recognition that your will, that my will is God's will. Not separate and apart. One will, God. And from workbook lesson 57, I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness with me. Now, here's where, for me, and again, I invite commentary and, see if we can get a good discussion going here. Here's where Einstein comes in for me. When, according to Einstein, everything is constantly, everything that we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch is constantly moving, that it's all living, that every atom and all that kind of stuff, it's always active, which is why all thought produces form at some level, to my understanding, because it's always active, and we have the ability to make something, and I said make intentionally, I didn't say create, to make something that appears like a solid, this computer, my phone, this book, it all appears to be solid, but it's constantly moving. It's constantly energy. We talk about those vibrations. We're constantly vibrating, constantly vibrating, constantly vibrating. And here it says all living things, that the holiness of all living things, including myself, it's all holy. They're one with me. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things. Because we're told, judge not by appearances. At the same time, we have to remember that everything that we are seeing is coming through us. And everything is because we are. Everything is because we are. And we are because God is. And we're back to that oneness. I and my Father are one. We and the Father are one. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness with me. There's something in the chat. Let me see. Oh, yes. Karen had written it in the chat. I'm glad you raised your hand, because I'll see your hand faster than I'll see the chat. And a reminder again that I and the Father are one is the atonement principle. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you need correct. And that's from chapter 1, section 6, and a sentence worth memorizing as far as I'm concerned. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you need correct. Once you're clear that you can't be separate from God, then you realize you can't be separate from anything, because God is the universe. Said so. God is the universe. Okay. The Course said so. So we're moving on. I introduced to you Dr. Howard Thurman and his book, Meditations of the Heart. Actually, it's Reverend Howard Thurman. And from his section from this book, it's titled "We Are All One." And he writes, long ago, Plotinus wrote, if we are in unity with the Spirit, we are in unity with each other, and so we are all one. The words of this ancient Greek mystic are suggestive, for they call attention to the underlying unity of all life. The recognition of the Spirit of God as the unifying principle of all life becomes at once the most crucial experience of man. It says that whoever is aware of the Spirit of God in himself enters the doors that lead into the life of his fellows. And that, of course, I can't, if it's in me, if I see it as me, then I see it as you. I have to, because of the oneness. I can't say that, God is, that God is what I am and not say that God is what you are. How's that possible? We're still talking about the oneness. It's just not possible. And the more we do that, the more peace. And remember that the goal of the course is peace. It's peace. The more I am able to recognize the oneness, the more often, the more I engage, the more time I devote, the more peace I feel, the more peace I know, the more peace I realize, because I realize that God is the peace. I am the peace of God. And that the peace of God is me. So Dr. Thurman continues. It says that whoever is aware of the Spirit of God in himself enters the doors that lead into the life of his fellows. The same idea is stated in ethical terms in the New Testament, when the suggestion is made that if a man says he loves God whom he hath not seen, and does not love his brother who is with him, he is a liar, and the truth does not dwell in him. Now, Reverend Thurman is quoting the way it's written, by Paul, I presume, in the New Testament. If you say you love God, then you can't say you hate me. You can't say you love God and you hate what you're seeing on television. You can't say you love God and say that something's wrong with anything, because that love extends to everything, from me to everything, to everyone, because it is what I am. I am it. It is me. It is God. It is all, always one. So it says, it's a suggestion in the Bible, if a man says he loves God whom he hath not seen, and does not love his brother who is with him, he is a liar, and the truth does not dwell in him. The way is difficult because it is very comforting to withdraw. The next slide. Something froze on my computer. Oh no, what's happening here? I'm going to stop share for a minute to try to figure out what's going on. Something froze. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try again. Here we are. Let me go back one. The way is difficult because it is very comforting to withdraw from the responsibility of unity with one's fellows and to enter alone into the solitary contemplation of God. Oh yeah, go into my secret place, go into meditation, go into my closet, as it says in the Bible, into in my own closet, into just me. And oh yeah, I'm so holy and I'm so spiritual and I'm so this and I'm so that. Well, that's not a miracle worker. That's not the life of a spiritual practitioner. I have to live out here. I remember when I was actively involved with Nicotine Anonymous. And well, here in this part of in this neck of the woods, there's only one available meeting that's close by. And now we do it online, but there's only one meeting close by. So there's one meeting a week. But there are some 12-step programs where, that you can have a meeting every day, 3-4 times a day if you want to, different places. And there are some people who to this day feel like the reason why they're staying sober or whatever it is that, the situation is because they're continually at meetings. But they're not living their life. They're spending all their time in this meeting. They're not demonstrating out here with the rest of us the gift that they have learned in those rooms. They're going from one meeting to another, and they're dependent actually on the meeting. They have traded addictions. They have traded addiction to alcohol or drugs or whatever other substance or food or sex, whatever, gambling, whatever. They have traded off that drug for the drug of the meeting. They have made the meeting their drug by making it their whole life. Yeah, you can say it keeps them sober or whatever word applies in this case of whatever their addiction happens to be. But how am I living my life? I'm still in the closet. I'm still over here in meditation. I'm still over here in my secret place. I'm not out here. We're talking about the responsibility of unity with one's fellows to, being with the responsibility of being with others. One can have a perfect orgy of solitary communion, Dr. Thurman says. One can have a perfect orgy of solitary communion without the risks of being misunderstood, of having one's words twisted, of having to be on the defensive about one's true or alleged attitude. In the quiet fellowship with one's God, one may seem to be relieved. One may seem to be relieved of any necessity to make headway against heavy odds. This is why one encounters persons of deep piousness and religiosity who are intolerant and actively hostile toward their fellows. Here we go. Oh yeah. So here I am in my book. I'm here in my course. I am in my course, and everything is wonderful as while I am in here in my course, and I'm studying, and I'm, and so I'm maybe even memorizing like that particular passage that got my attention. I do intend to memorize it. Peace be to you. I love that. And memorizing and remembering, that's all fine and good here by myself. But if I turn right around and come here or go outside or go anywhere and I'm constantly criticizing, I'm constantly complaining, I'm constantly judging, what? Unhealed healer. I'm saying one thing, but I'm doing another. I'm reading, I'm studying. I say that I'm engaging with God, but that's not what engaging with God. Reading the course all the time, or reading Ernest Holmes, or reading Dr. Thurman, or reading Emma Curtis Hopkins, or reading Joel Goldsmith, or musicians, sitting and reading them all the time is not what engaging is. That's reading. That's reading. Granted, I am, but for me, it's working on embodying. I want to embody this life. I want to embody the truth that I am what God is, that God is with me everywhere I go, that there is nothing to fear, that I am sustained by the love of God, that I can rest in God, that I can be in peace. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about while I'm reading a doggone book, or listening to a YouTube video, or listening to Pal Talk. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about living the life. We're talking about extending that love. Lynn is one person. I love her. I love Lynn dearly. Lynn demonstrates. And granted, Lynn spends most of her time here. She does indeed. She does indeed. But when you listen to her speak, she's not reading from a book. When you listen to her heart, when you listen to this woman's word, when you listen to her, I hear the voice of God. I hear her Everything's on the same playing field. I hear no order of difficulty. I don't hear analysis. I don't hear judgment. I hear peace. I hear love. I hear beauty. I hear extension. I hear that she's saying this about you as she's saying about herself. I hear I and the Father are one. And not only Lynn, but I'm going to use her as the example because I know she can hear me. I'm going to use her as an example. Karen, I saw your hand. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Lynn is amazing, and I love Lynn, and I love the love that she extends all the time. Zuma, you're right. It's not about reading the book. It's about practicing. It's about, this is something that I'm working on right now, is really working on being at peace regardless of what I'm going through. And it's been a challenge. It has been a challenge, but I think I'm doing fairly well. I think I'm a little hard on myself sometimes. I think, sometimes I just am. I'm just a little hard on myself. I'm putting down the hammer today and I'm picking up the feather. So thank you.
Thank you. So, Dr. Thurman continues. Some of the most terrifying, I'm actually going to read the sentence before that again, talking about all this being in myself, being to myself and all that. I don't have to worry about stuff out here. And says, this is why one encounters persons of deep piousness and religiosity who are intolerant and actively hostile toward their fellows. Some of the most terrifying hate organizations in the country are made up in large part of persons who are very devout in the worship of their God. The test to which Plotinus puts us, however, is very searching. To be in unity with the Spirit is to be in unity with, this thing is not advancing. What's going on here? Is to be in unity with one's fellows. Not to be in unity with one's fellows is thereby not to be in unity with the Spirit. The pragmatic test of one's unity with the Spirit is found in the unity with one's fellows. We see what this means when we are involved in the experience of a broken relationship. When I have lost harmony with another, my whole life is thrown out of tune. God tends to be remote and far away when a desert and sea appear between me and another. I draw close to God as I draw close to my fellows. The great incentive remains ever alert. I cannot be at peace without God, and I cannot be truly aware of God if I am not at peace with my fellows. For the sake of my unity with God, I keep working on my relations with my fellows. This is ever the insistence of all ethical religions. And that's the truth. We're seek first the kingdom, and then all also be added unto you. Granted, me first, and I have to see it here. I have to realize that the eyes that I'm looking through, the ears that I'm hearing through, the mouth that I'm speaking from with this communication device is for the purpose for me to extend, to give, to love, to laugh, to shed light, to and it's not that that's my plan. Today I'm going to this, that, and the other. No. Because of the practice, and because of the practice, it flows. It just flows. It just flows. And I had a moment yesterday, day before yesterday, when I felt I took something personally. And I was in my feelings, and I was very clear that they were my feelings. I was very clear that the word personally hadn't come to mind yet until I got a response to the text that said about, just a reminder not to take things personally. And then I realized that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking it personally. Why do I think I'm special? Why do I think that I should be included in something that I don't necessarily have to be included in? What is Zulma? Yo, listen up. Pay attention. Stop. I had to do that because I forgot to engage. I forgot my magnificence. I forgot that I am one with everything that's going on, every situation. There is no need for specialness. I am still what God is. It's still all one. Still all one. This is ever the insistence of all ethical religions. And for some reason, my thing is just not advancing. What is going on here? Next. All right. Quote from the course. Oh, you know what? Speaking of that, I have I'm gonna stop share for a bit. Did that say the shared window is closed? No, okay, it's not. It's not. It's not. I was about to give up my piece. I was about to give it up. I have quotes from the course on oneness. Where does that start today? Right here. Okay. I share screen again. And while I figure out what's going on with it's not a thing. It's not working properly, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. So I'm taking pieces of sentences because nowhere was I told that I had to quote everything verbatim. And I'm not. The gift of oneness. In having the gift of oneness and recognizing the gift of oneness, all separation vanishes. The gift of oneness, as we recognize and appreciate the gift of oneness, all separation vanishes. This is from chapter 14. There is one link that joins all together, holding us in the oneness out of which creation happens. One link that holds us together, the one that holds all things together, holding them, all links that join them, us, you, me, all together, holding us in the oneness out of which creation happens. God's teacher is as like to his creator as is his son. God's teacher, it's the Holy Spirit, is as like to his creator as is his son. And through his teacher does God proclaim his oneness and his sons. We're still talking oneness, oneness, oneness. Oneness, oneness, oneness. With the miracle of oneness, division disappears. With the miracle of oneness, if we're focusing on the one. When we look out and say, oh, they, and stop. Hold it, wait a minute. This is the way I'm seeing it. It's not them. It's what I'm thinking about them. It's never that. It's what I'm thinking about that. Reminder, this is a course in mind training. It's never the thing. It's always what I think about the thing. It's never the person, what they said, what they did. It's what I think about what they said or what they did. I need to be guarding my thoughts. I need to not be looking out there and recognize that it's only here. It's me, it's me, it's me. Oh Lord, as Regis reminds us, standing in the need of prayer. It's not because that person said this or that other person did that, or because that appointment was canceled on me. How could they do this to me? I am the victim. I am the victim. They are the villain. Don't they realize that if we want peace, we have to think peace. To experience yourself as alone is to deny the oneness of the Father and his Son. Back to the closet that Dr. Thurman was talking about. I'm going in my closet and everything is fine and great and wonderful while I'm in this closet. Jump out the closet and all hell breaks loose. People don't want to be around me. My attitude is, is mean, or I'm contentious, or I'm always trying to fix somebody. Oh my God. I I'm sorry, that just brought someone to mind who talks about people who do that, but they do that. Always trying to fix somebody, always trying to, give them tell them what's right because I know. I know, you see, I know. You don't know. I know. No, 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 no. We all know. We're all in God. We're all in God. And we all receive from that same divine mind, from that same divine intelligence, from that same source, that same spirit. Light and joy and peace abide in me. They abide in me. And I just need to recognize that on a regular basis. It's and sometimes a good keyword, buzzword, light, peace, joy. In a moment when something is, just a reminder, light. Oh God, peace. Oh God, joy. In that moment when something just doesn't look right, feel right, when we're attempting to make something that it's not. In the chat, I see Karen wrote, my salvation comes from me. Yes, workbook lesson 70. And all temptation is nothing more than some form of the basic temptation not to believe. Okay, wait a minute. That idea that my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can save me. Nothing. Even in the Bible, it says, work out your salvation, work out your own salvation. It says that. The Bible, it's written that way in the Bible. It doesn't say. It's written that way in the Bible. Work out your own salvation. There's nothing outside me that can save me. How's that possible? If I'm responsible for me, then what outside of me can save me? And the Course teaches that no thought alien to oneness can abide. No thought alien to oneness can live. No thought alien to oneness can be. It can't survive. It doesn't exist. It has no permanence. It can't be. It simply can't be. No thought alien to oneness. Acceptance of your own creation is the acceptance of the oneness of creation. All right. If I accept that I am of God, as some say, that I am what God is. And to say that that person over there, that man in the news, oh my God. Oh, I hear so much of that. I hear, too many people talking about this group, based on their how they're registered versus another group and how they're registered. You can't convince me that every Democrat has my best interest in mind. And you can't convince me that every Republican doesn't. You can't convince me of that. Because I'm not talking about Democrats and Republicans and liberals and all. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about source. I'm talking about God in form. Any way it goes. And there are people of any persuasion, there are people of any party, there are people of any hue that treat me wonderfully. There are people of all, and there are people who choose not to, and that's okay. Because I bless them anyway. Because this is about my peace. The goal is peace. Peace, and to know myself, Acceptance of your creations is the acceptance of the oneness of creation, without which you could never be complete. Without which you cannot be complete by separating yourself from anything. We are not separate. How many ways to say that? We are not separate. Let's see how many other ways the Course teaches. An awareness of perfect oneness is the knowledge that there is nothing else. Nothing outside this oneness, and this is oneness with a capital O for those who are not here to see what's just to or not reading the screen here. Nothing outside this oneness and nothing else within. An awareness of perfect oneness, the knowledge that there is nothing else, nothing outside this oneness and nothing else within. And these are strictly from the course. I'm reading from the course now. No separate life, because its life is the oneness in which its being was created. We're talking about me, you. There is no separate life, because our life is the oneness in which its being was created, in which we were created. We have always been, we were always will be. I think this is where I'm going to stop this. No, apparently not. Oneness is endless, timeless, and within your grasp as I continue to engage with God, as I continue in that habit of engaging. It becomes easier and easier and less frequent to judge myself harshly, or to judge others harshly, or to judge at all. Because I mean, if it's judgment, it's harsh anyway. Period. You can't judge a little bit. Like the course teaches, there are no small upsets. They're all equally disturbing to my mind. So if I'm judging you, if I'm judging anything, anyone, it's because I am not believing the truth of what is. And Karen wrote in the chat, the absence. Oh, hi, Regis. Welcome. I'm attempting to finish up oneness today. I decided to come home yesterday. The absence of perfect peace means but one thing. This is from chapter 14. You think you do not will for God's son what his father wills for him. And that is to say, God loves you, but I hate you. I don't see how God can possibly love you because you do this, act that way, dress this way, think this way. Because you don't belong to the same, because you don't study A Course in Miracles. No, you're not enlightened because you don't study A Course in Miracles. That's so dumb to me. I'm sorry. That's dumb. That's what thumpers do. Thumpers do that. Thumpers are those who have this one, they've attached themselves to one form of study, and they say that everything else is wrong. But if the course itself, I'm using the course as an example, says forget this course, throw the book away. Forget this course. Then the book itself is telling you, this isn't it. This is not what you should be holding on to as your only source. That's like going back into the 12-step, like I was talking about being in a 12-step program, being in those rooms and living in those rooms. I'm making that my God. I'm not making this book my God. I am not making this book my God. Nor am I making this book my God. Nor am I making this book my God. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Which is why I'm in different books. But the message that I'm seeking, the message that I'm gaining, the message that I'm living from these books is the same. Light and joy and peace abide in me, that I am love, that I am what God is, that I can be, kicking and screaming and I'm still in God, that I can be laughing and smiling and I'm still in God, that I can wear my shirts low and my what is it? My skirts high and my shirts low and I'm still in God. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am what God is, and that can't be changed. But not only me, but you too. Now, let's see if I can get anything going on this screen with this PowerPoint. Or I'll just do it this way to be sure that it does advance. Although I prefer I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see. From current slide. Let's see what happens. You are one self. This is from the course. United and secure in light and joy and peace. You are God's son. One self with one creator and one goal. One, one, to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds, that true creation may extend the allness and the unity of God. You are one self, complete and healed and whole. Let me remember that I am complete and healed and whole. I need to remember that I am complete and healed and whole. Otherwise, I can't see you as complete and healed and whole. And that's self is with a capital S. You are one self. You are spirit in a state of grace forever. You are one with God. You are what God is. One capital S self. I'm not talking about this body. I'm talking about the essence of what I am, the life that I am, the breath that I am. You are one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of darkness from the world and let the light in you come through to teach the world the truth about yourself. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it continues. You are one self in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there will be. You are one continued capital S self, the Holy Son of God, united with your brothers in that capital S self, united with your Father in his will, united, one, united, self, one, united, joined, one. Feel this one capital S self in you and let it shine away all your illusions and your doubts. This is your capital S self, the Son of God himself, sinless as its creator, with his strength within you and his love forever yours. And if you're engaging, if I'm engaging, when I'm engaging, I'm clear. It's so clear. Nothing outside me, nothing outside me. Strong love, forever mine, forever mine. The Son of God, I am the Son of God. Ooh, that is amazing that I am what God is. One will, one life, one love, one truth. There's a passage in the Bible. Oh, I want to try to find that. I want to try to find it. Maybe I'll have time, maybe I won't. You are one self, and it is given you to feel this self within you and to cast all your illusions out of the one mind that is this self, the holy truth in you. The holy truth in you. That's big. That is huge. That is huge. This might be my last slide. Let's see. I'm going to stop share for a moment. I'm going to stop share for a moment because if so, I am absolutely going to invite more conversation. I am absolutely going to invite more conversation because, yeah, this is my last slide. So let's talk about that oneness. Let's talk about that oneness. Tell me, if you will, anybody who's close by and listening, and within reach of their mic, within reach of the chat, but or within reach of their mic, how this oneness is demonstrating today in your life, how it demonstrated yesterday in your life, a situation, a phone call, uh, a moment when you felt one way and then realized your oneness. Anybody want to share on that? Okay,
All right, I'll
then I
share
will.
that.
Oh, very good, Lynn. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. It is an ongoing thing with me. It's like it's just like almost continuous because I'm continuously um looking at the world and judging, thinking that something has gone wrong, thinking that people are bad, thinking that I see crime, I see suffering, I see all these different things. Where do I don't see them here in my house, except if I turn on the TV or look at the news, the news. But excuse me, what I've come to understand and to see is that, each and every one of those people, every single person, every single being, every creature in the entire universe is a part of this ongoing atonement, this ongoing remembrance of the truth about what we are. And so what would be the purpose of me seeing these things and condemning them is only for me to see it in myself and see how it is, and I'm doing the same thing, and see, and you might say, well, no, I didn't, rob the bank or murder bunches of people or whatever, but I did wish that I had your money. I did wish that you know that somebody that I disapproved of in the world was no longer existing in the world, because the world would be a better place if they were gone. These are the thoughts that the ego keeps bringing up over and over and over whenever I look at what seems to be happening. And so the oneness, I'm being asked to just look for you know not the problems, but what is the same about what's happening here. And I just have had huge uh openings of you know of understanding and knowing and seeing that everybody everywhere is doing the best they can to overcome this terrifying world that they think they're living in. And as I see it in them, I recognize it in me. And as I recognize it in me, I recognize that, if I can, I can come to a state of peace within myself and no longer be in that terrifying state, or terrified state, both terrifying and terrified. When I recognize that I can come to peace through actually forgiving what seems to be happening. And that doesn't mean saying, well, it's really not happening. The world's not real. It's not really going on. It's all okay. But really looking at it and seeing everybody is doing everything that they're doing is a reaction. The whole ego life is a reaction to what it thinks is happening, what it
Yes.
thinks it sees. And here, me, who has been given this incredible gift of A Course in Miracles, and this incredible community of people who are right-minded thinkers and right-minded seers, you know, it's for me to join with the right mind and experience this connection. And as I do that, I experience the oneness. I experience the oneness. I experience our connection. I experience the love. I experience the peace, just knowing that we're all going the same direction, and we're all rowing the boat in the same direction. It may seem like somebody's trying to get us off course, but that's not true. Even when you're driving down a straight road, if you don't keep your hands on the wheel and keep control of the car, you're going to go off direction. So that's what we're here, is just to keep the boat going in the right direction, and know that everybody on the boat is responsible for getting us where we are. And so, how can I reject anybody or anything, any situation, the weather, the Mercury in retrograde. How can I reject any part of it? It's all a part of the the bringing about of this total connectedness that is the reality of what we are. It's not really bringing it about, it's bringing about my understanding, or being able to see it or notice it. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. And as I'm hearing you talking about the Mercury retrograde, that wonderful Mercury retrograde, I think it just went direct. For me, having been a student of astrology for a whole lot of years, um, for me, it's learning how to work with it. How, okay, so, we're taught that Mercury retrograde is a time of reflection. It's a time of slowing down. It's a time of repetition where, we may have to go back and do something, to correct some things that need to be, you know, I don't say, oh my God, Mercury's getting ready to go retrograde, but I do recognize that for me, that it's not the best time to start things, but everything shouldn't always be about start, start, start. Sometimes you have to go back and you have to review, and you have to, so for me, it's learning how to work with, as opposed to saying, oh God, oh God, you messed up. You made Mercury go retrograde. That kind of thing. No. And it's not just Mercury that goes retrograde. Everything except the sun and moon goes retrograde at some point. Everything except the sun and moon, astrologically speaking. And where everything appears to be, and what that means for those who may not know, everything, like, people on a train, and you have the local and you have the express, and the express is going so much faster than the local that it appears that the local is going slower. It just slows down, and everything just keeps slows down. And we're supposed to slow down. That's why we're given the gift of meditation. Everything can't just be go, 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 go. That's why we need sleep. We need to rest. We need to take time to reflect. We need to engage in what Lynn was saying about the car. If you don't keep your hands on the wheel, you're going to go off course. This is a course in mind training. If you don't engage, you're going to go off course. If you don't practice, you're going to go off course. You can talk all the stuff you want. Doesn't matter. And because you're not feeling that peace. You're not feeling that joy. You're looking out at things, and you're, constantly turning your head sideways at it. Like, why is that acting? Why is that like that? Why is he acting like that? Oh, I can't believe he's doing this again. Oh, I can't believe this. And I can't, and hurting myself with it. Oh my God, causing myself pain. Karen wrote in the chat, we are all one in sanity. We are all one in insanity. And we are all one in having the power to choose one or the other. Thank you, Karen. That was from chapter 19. I am saving the chat, by the way. That's one of the things I do. I'm saving the chat. Going back to the course, I did have a few more quotes to share. That's if I hit the share button, right? To share. The Holy Spirit links the tiny mad desire to be separate, different, and special to the Christ consciousness, to make the oneness clear to what is really one. Really one. We should all just change our last name to Christ. Then we'd be clear that we're related. Maybe we ought to just, as we look at everybody and say, call everybody Christ. Zulma Christ, Lynn Christ, Dove Christ, Lori Christ, Regis Christ, Karen Christ, everybody Christ. Everybody Christ. That might help. That just might help, because then we can hear. the relationship. Oh, we're related. Oh, we're related. Both all of our name is Christ. Even the one who's, seemingly doing something to harm me, well, harm my body. They're for my learning. They're a lesson that God would have me learn. Everybody Christ. It is the Holy Spirit's function to teach you how this oneness is experienced, what you must do that it can be experienced, and where you should go to do it. That takes me to page 28, where it says, I don't have to worry about what to do or what to say, because he who sent me will direct me. I am here only to be truly helpful. And that word truly is not what I was talking about when somebody's trying to fix you, trying to give you the answers. When I was a stepmother and the young one would do her homework, I would sit with her with her homework. And if she had a question, she could ask, but I would not give her the answers. When we were doing these little math problems, she had to figure it out. And if she gave me an answer that, according to the math problem, wasn't correct, I would ask her, why did she come up with that answer? Tell me how you came up with that answer. And then she would go on her little fingers and she'd count and she'd say, oh, no. 2 and 4 is not 2 and 4 is not 5, it's 6. But I wouldn't tell her that it's 6. It's not my job to do that. How do I learn if I'm constantly being told how? Can't. You can show me the way. You can guide me. And the course says that. It's not, we're not being given the answers. We're being shown how to find the answers, how to find experience the truth for ourselves. I love that about these teachings, because they are courses in mind training. They are all courses in mind training, teaching me how to be the best that I can be, teaching me how to recognize the best that I am, to be the one, to recognize that I am the one, to recognize that I am the light, to recognize that I am the love of God. Teach only love, the course says, for that is what you are. I am the love of God. I am the one. I am a savior. And not only me, I'm stepping out of that closet. I'm stepping out of that room where there's no one else there. That's not me sitting here in this house talking about I'm a savior. No, I have to prove this thing for myself. I have to go out there, and I will. I have to go out there. I got a ticket for $115, a parking ticket for $115. And I started laughing. Because I told my nephew, I said, are you sure I'm okay here? I'm sure. I said, but nephew, I think. He said, no, it's okay. Of course, he's not going to pay the ticket. And I just laughed. All right, it is what it is. And you know why I got that ticket? Yes, I was not close. I was too close to the hydrant. That is true. But now, as I'm thinking about it, I kept complaining about how much money it was costing me to go, because I caught I guess they call them hacks. But this particular person is somebody that my nephew uses on a regular basis. It's like a taxi service, and I paid to go see my sister the first day to the hospital this year. And okay, so I paid that amount, and whatever extra I gave. Um, but then yesterday, that was Tuesday. But then yesterday, it was supposed to be that my nephew was going to come back to the apartment, pick me up, and then we were going to go in the same taxi, which would then cost us both less money. And I had a moment, because he said, I forgot. You forgot. This was me. I didn't, it took later when I actually saw him. I said, so you forgot that your aunt drove from Philadelphia to New York to see her sister, and you forgot that I was here. You forgot. Now I heard as I just heard myself say that, that was to make him feel guilty. I'm realizing that as I'm saying it, that it was to make him feel guilty. I didn't think about the fact that it was to make him feel guilty. I was thinking about the fact that I was upset about the fact that he forgot special me. He forgot special me. He forgot that I came all the way. He forgot. And so it was. And so I caught that same person and paid that same amount again to go to the hospital. And all I kept talking about was how much money it was costing me and how much money it was costing me. How much money it was costing me. So what did I get? Something that was going to cost me even more money. See how it works? You see how it works? Now, never mind that the day that I went the first time, my other nephew, who had come to see my sister as well, drove me to a point where it wasn't putting him out the way, and I was able to walk those New York City blocks, and I got 2 miles of exercise in. Well, at least, yeah, it said 2.2. I'm sure that I wasn't totally all that, but at least I got a couple of miles of exercise walking back to the apartment. I didn't think about the gratitude for that until later when I had a conversation. I didn't think about that, how grateful I was for that. And then yesterday, when I get to the hospital, my nephew's, I got there at just about 10 after 2. And he said he was leaving at 2:30. You're leaving at 2:30? But I just got here. Yeah, but I have other things to do. I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. But it was fine. I ended up staying until after 4. Another lady came to visit my sister, who happened to live right around the corner from the apartment I was going to. It just, things have a way of working out. They have a way of working out. It could have cost me even more. I was going to catch public transportation. I was actually getting excited about the idea of catching public transportation in New York, and I've done that before. Um, but I hadn't done it in years. And once I looked at the route and all that. Anyway, so Lynn put in the chat, saying things to make people feel guilty is one of is one of my favorite games. Asking first why I am doing it, so healing. Wait a minute. Asking first why I am doing it is so healing. Oh, it's so healing and has saved me from so much regret. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I got back to the apartment, I made it a point to joke around with my nephew, and just I didn't even, that it was done, it was gone, it was over. It's about this delicious pizza that he bought from this place called Patsy's, and I'm asking how much do you know? No, no, I got that. No, you don't have to, you don't have to. No, 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 I got it. He said, you'll get me next time you come. All right, and so it is. I still got a $115 ticket to pay, but I earned it. I earned that ticket. And looking at it, I well deserve that ticket, and I'll pay that till they get it out of my way. Anyway, it is the Holy Spirit's function to teach you how this oneness is experienced, why you must do it. No. What you must do that it can be experienced, and where you should go to do it. I do have another quote. I want to make sure I get that in. A mind split could never be the teacher of a oneness which unites all things within itself. I can't sit here and criticize this and talk about that and claim that that was wrong and that's not the way it should be, and still claim to be in oneness, to still claim to be in God. It's all in God. It's all God. It's written, we live, move, and have our being in God. It's all God. So no matter what it is, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not God. It doesn't mean it's not God. No, Lynn. What happened was I was at a place, I was parked where I didn't have to pay at all. But I was too close to the fire hydrant that was behind me. So no, that's what happened. I got a $115 parking ticket. I earned it for complaining about the money I was spending. I was just calling it to myself. Nothing conflicts with oneness, the course teaches. Nothing conflicts with oneness. Do I have any more? I think I may have a couple more. Choosing is a necessary step in the advance toward oneness. Choosing. We always have a choice. We always have a choice. And the Holy Spirit is in your mind and my mind. And he is one, because there is no gap that separates his oneness from itself. Itself is a capital I. The Holy Spirit is in both our minds. And he is one. 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 Because there is no gap that separates his oneness from itself. How I hope you hear me saying it in your sleep. One, there's Zulma talking about that oneness again. One, oh yeah, one. Okay, I want to criticize. No, wait, one. Oh, I want to judge it. No, wait, one. One. Oh, wait, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's that one. That one is me. That is me. That situation that I don't like. It's me. This is my life. I'm doing this thing. I'm responsible for what I see. I am responsible. I'm given the gift of responsibility, the ability to respond, the ability to choose. I'm not an automaton. Ernest Holmes talks about that. We're not automatons. Yeah, said that right. We're not robots. We're not, we choose. We get to decide what, how, when. We do. We do. And as we realize that there's nothing out there that can hurt me, nothing out there that can do anything to me, nothing out there that I cannot be separate from the love of God, that I cannot be separate from my source. Ideas don't leave their source. We do not leave our source. We are always connected. We are always, as Susan Michelle says, plugged in to that God socket all the time. Always. One. Life can be a whole lot easier. And yeah, and when I felt that thing with my nephew at the hospital, by the time I got back to the apartment, I had, oh, come on, Zulma, come on. It's not that deep. It ain't that deep. Is the expression. It just ain't that deep to hold on to that, considering everybody was spending money, and it's just money. It's not my source. I had it to spend. Come on, I had it to spend. And so the Holy Spirit is in both our minds, and he is one, because there is no gap that separates his oneness from itself. We are one in God, always one in God. And the last quote is by Emma Curtis Hopkins from her book, Scientific Christian Mental Practice. When I first read that, when I first read that, I thought, oh, this is spooky. What does this mean? Scientific Christian? We're back to that again? It's the funniest thing. When I came to the course, before it opened up to me, before the words opened up to me, I remember I was, just flipping pages, and and I kept seeing. I saw. I'm reading it. It read like the Bible. I'm like, what are you kidding me? I decided I'm not. I'm not a Christian anymore because they believe this and they believe that. I'm not a Jesus follower. That's a cult. Following a person is a cult. Um, and now it's following the teachings. I'm not following a person. I'm not following any person. In fact, in the course, Jesus said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm your brother. Don't be in awe of me. Don't. Mm-mm. We're one. You can change your name to Jesus if you want to. You can make it rhyme with Regis, Jesus. You can do that if you want to. But we are given this voice, this message, these messages to remind us of our oneness, that we are what it is. We are all that. We are that. We are that. We are what God is. We are what Jesus is. We are the Christ. And recognizing that the words that fall out of my mouth are the words said in the same way that someone else said it, the same way that it's written that Jesus said it. It's all one. It is still all one. You're going to be so sick of me with this oneness. And if not, and so it is. My final quote on this subject of oneness, well, almost final. My computer is really doing something strange here. At present, this is from Emma Curtis Hopkins from the Scientific Christian Mental Practice book. At present, you use words to approach your own good, and that's good with a capital G. So Emma Curtis Hopkins, she is known for my good is my God. My God is my good. Now, I'm saying those words slower than I used to because they have meaning to me today. I studied her years ago and then taught a class years ago, taught class more than once using her material. And I kept saying it. It was just like I used to say, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. And I didn't understand it. I had no idea what that meant. My good is my God is my good was, like me saying the Apostles' Creed, in Catholic school. It was just words. But today I hear it differently, I feel it differently, and I understand it differently. That good with the capital G, take the O, take one O out if you want to. See, God, the word God is just a placeholder for anything. It's just a word. A God, the God means just the ruler of all of it. So if it's the ruler of all of it, then all of it has to be God. At present, to quote Emma Curtis Hopkins now, at present, you use words to approach your own good. There will come a time when you will not use words. No words can truly express your understanding of God. You are it. And what understanding of God you really feel is the substance that you show, substance with a capital S. So the only words you can speak and be identified with as yet are, I am my own understanding of God. And to say that I am my own understanding of God is to say that I am one with God. And finally, I close with another Egyptian proverb, another ancient Kemetic proverb. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know it himself shall find it. And with that, I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for being me. I love you. And Lynn, here's the mic.
Thank you so much, Zulma. I love you, my